It's such a nice thing when you allow yourself a quieting of your mind, which puts to rest for a moment beliefs that aren't serving you and allows you a personal connection to this loving, glorious consciousness of Source, where you discover your own worthiness, your own value, your own connection with all that is good. Humans have discovered, and they continue to perpetuate it with each other, this real flaw in their thinking is a shortage consciousness that says there's only so much prosperity to go around. They think incorrectly that it's a finite amount. And then they squabble over how much you get and how much you get. And if you get it, then I can't get it. Not understanding that this evolution of abundance expands proportionately to the asking. So the more who are suffering in not enough abundance, the more abundance is created, because it is true. When you ask whoever you are, it is given. But the question is, are you in a state that is allowing what you've asked for to come in, or do you believe that you have to follow impossible rituals that have been passed on from generations in a not true way of understanding in order to be worthy? It's such an interesting thing to watch people pinching themselves off from the very source that they want to be with in order to prove their worthiness to be with that source. It's interesting that for so many humans, you've actually come to a place where you have rendered your own guidance system ineffective. Because you say, if it feels good, it isn't. And if it feels like sacrifice, it's good. And we say, uh-oh. Because your inner being is offering you love, and you say, I must be doing something wrong. This feels too good. And when you're suffering, you say, see, God, I'm following your work. And that was never what was being offered. And if you could speak to Jesus directly, and you are, same family of teachers, and you are, what you would hear is, as you're standing in front, dripping your illness, don't talk about that. Go forth and tell no one. Don't keep active within you something that is blocking the wellness that is potentially within you. As you now know what you know, you can receive clarity about all of those things that are confusing. Can't you feel someone who's tuned in to source energy? And can't you feel someone who's in the receptive mode of defensiveness? Isn't hate obvious to see? And isn't love obvious to see? How can a belief that you've picked up along your physical trail cause you to deny your own experience? Well, that's what we've been talking about all these hours that we've been together. Words don't teach. And the only way you're going to know is to find some way of disengaging from those beliefs that are in your way. And not everything you believe is in your way. You believe a lot of things that are beneficial to you. There is so much in religious teachings that is right on. But you, once you connect on a regular basis, would be able to read those texts and feel the resonance of what Source knows to be and what man has made up from his defensive and protective state. Almost every religious text has come through many hands of economic leaders who have adjusted for the economic value, not for the spiritual understanding. There is no teacher who has been accurately or for very long at all expressed further. That's why Source doesn't count on a teacher or a leader. Source gives it to everyone. To everyone. To everyone. Unlimited abundance and knowledge and well-being and source energy and flow. It's not just funneled through a few who might get up in a bad mood and say something entirely different from what Source said. We've been talking about that already, you see.
So my question was, how can I meditate and manifest the winning lottery numbers?
You cannot get there from there. You can't get there from there. Because you see, here's the thing. You can manifest winning lottery numbers, but the thing that is most interesting about that is that here's what you're saying and how it's playing out vibrationally. You've said, I want a lot of money. And that's a little bit like saying, I want to eat all of the food that I will ever eat today. And we say, can you feel how it is softer and less resistant to say, I want money to flow to me in abundance that I can comfortably enjoy? It's a softer statement. Yeah. But when you say, I want a lot of money, and you don't have any way of believing that it will come, then when you say, I want a lot of money, it's an uphill statement. Now, let's play with this just a little bit so that you can feel it, because it's a big topic for so many of you. So we're just going to offer some words under some conditions, and we're going to demonstrate by pointing whether it's upstream or downstream feeling. Okay. And we're predominantly going to focus upon the vibration that is yours, but it's not so different from what a lot of people in the room are feeling. So this will be beneficial to everyone. So I want to win the lottery. Now, that was clearly an upstream statement, because what it was saying is, I want something that I don't have, and I don't see any viable way of getting it. So I want it to come through this method that I believe is possible, but the odds of it happening to me are really, really remote. In other words, that's what, when you say I want to win the lottery, that's what the vibration of it is saying. And it's upstream and therefore counter to all of this money that's calling you here. So when you feel that, in other words, when you feel that in your stomach, in other words, do you buy lottery tickets? Do any of you? When you buy lottery tickets, do you feel euphoria while you're putting your money down? If you're feeling euphoria while you're putting your money down, then keep doing it for the entertainment value. In other words, but for the most part, what we see in those who are in Las Vegas or those who are spending their money on the lottery is that those are upstream actions for the most part. It's a really rare one of you that is just bipping along and all of a sudden is overtaken with a feeling of elation, and you can just feel that you have this driving urge to go buy a lottery ticket. Now, if that ever happens to you, go buy a lottery ticket. But if it is not that feeling that you are feeling, in other words, and so then people say, well, Abraham, I'm not really sure what I'm feeling. And we say, that's exactly the point that we've been trying to make all day here today. You've got this mix of energies going on that you have become accustomed to, and most of you are not really that keenly aware if your feeling's downstream or upstream, because you're up and down and up and down and up and down, and you don't focus upon anything long enough to really feel the feeling of it. Our friend just before who was talking, she'd been focused in alignment with source long enough that she felt the true ecstasy. And if she felt like that while she was thinking about a lottery ticket, she should go buy a lottery ticket and it would be a winner. We're not kidding you. Right. But when you're buying one out of hope, or when you're buying one because you're bored, or you're buying one because you don't want to go home and wash the dishes, or you're buying one because in other words, people are buying lottery tickets in all kinds of vibration that will not possibly yield them what they want. And so, now we're not saying to you that this is not a good process by which your fortune will come to you. We're just saying, don't buy the ticket till you line up the energy. Don't buy the ticket till you line up the energy. And when you line up the energy, you won't need the ticket. Because when you line up the energy, the universe will yield it to you through this path of least resistance, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, until all of a sudden money will be flowing into your experience, and you will laugh at the remarkable ways in which it will come. Ways that you didn't count on, ways that you didn't plan for, ways that you didn't queue up for in terms of action, just because you flowed the energy and you stopped doing that thing you do that kept you out of the stream of it. What we are wanting you to understand is that law of attraction is working for your good fortune. It is working for your prosperity, not against it. But your own beliefs, almost everyone, have been working against your own prosperity. And you can tell by the way you feel when you think about things like that, and you can tell by the way the words sound and feel as you speak them. In other words, it just sounds like the most incredible thing.
everybody's talking about the couple that won, and they're yearning to be that, but it seems like such an anomaly. It seems like such an incredible, iffy, chancy, risky anomaly. But this stuff that we're talking about is not risky and it's not chancy. It's sure. Once something has bubbled up and become a vibrational desire that you have realized, it is a sure thing. It's already so far along its progression that for it not to occur is ridiculous. And the only reason that it doesn't occur is because you have these habits of thought, and the only reason that you are willing to continue to project these habits of thought that are contrary to the desires that you hold is because you're willing to put up with not feeling so good. Yearning doesn't bother you. Well, you should be soaring. Yearning should bother you. It should feel awful to you to only feel hopeful. Hope in relationship to pure knowing, oh, no comparison whatsoever. But you've just become accustomed to not feeling so good, being a little angry, being a little ornery, being a little depressed, being a little discouraged, being a little mad, being a little blameful, being a little guilty. In other words, you've felt so many of those things in response to the way that you're thinking that you've trained yourself into unnatural acceptance of unnatural vibration. So that when somebody wins the lottery, you go, oh, wow, what an amazing, remarkable freak of nature that is. When everybody is winning the lottery all day, every day, do you know that your Earth is spinning in its orbit in perfect proximity to other planets? That is such a good thing. And it's not accidental, and it is for you. You won big time lottery that your planet is stable. Do you realize how many things are working for you? Your physical body won the lottery, won the lottery, won the lottery. And so as you're appreciating and basking and enjoying and practicing those thoughts that feel good, then those thoughts that have felt natural to you, those ornery thoughts that are blocking your well-being, they'll stop feeling so natural. They'll start feeling like what they are, the reason that things aren't quickly moving for you, you see. And after you get a handle on this and you start predominantly feeling good and you find yourself choking on words that you used to say often because they're really out of whack with who you really are, and you start allowing those magnificent vibrational thoughts to turn to magnificent see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it things, and others will look at you and they will call you lucky. They will call you a freak of nature. They will say, how is it that everything nice keeps coming to you? It's magical, or it's lucky, or it's freakishly lucky. And you'll just say, no, it's not. It's natural. It's who I am. It's the vibration that I emit. It's a natural, law-based experience. It's me projecting something that the universe must match. So we want you to know we're always notifying you. The question is, are you in the receptive mode, and are you picking up on the notification? If you're in an ornery mood, you're not. If you're worried about something, you're not. If you're feeling like things aren't working, things are impossible, then you're not. But if you're blissful and playful and open and happy, then the impulse calls you, just like it did, to that table, and then from that table to another place. You see? The notification is always being sent to you. The question is, are you receiving it? And sometimes the notification is, not quite yet, not quite yet, not quite yet. Look over there instead. Look over there instead. Come over here instead. Come over here instead. Come over. Now look. Boom.